I started writing this novel in 2003, and I finished the first draft in 2007. And I actually started writing this on the subway on the way to and from work, and I was calling it my subway novel. And I did that for several years, and then went traveling and spent a summer in Finland in a cottage in the woods that belonged to my wife's family, and then continued writing it on the train through Russia, Mongolia, China, and then I wrote the final chunk back in Toronto with a grant I got from the Toronto Arts Council, and finally finished that first draft in 2007. The novel was inspired by my 6 months living in Indonesia, as well as 4 years in Toronto when I worked with immigrants and refugees from all over the world and learned of their incredible stories of survival and of doing what they could for their families. So those two times in my life kind of came together. And the thing about writing a novel compared to nonfiction anyway is that it's harder to make it authentic, in the sense that if I'm writing a news story, I interview people, I get their opinions or their stories, and I write about it, and I have that crutch on, as long as I get it right, as long as I'm accurate and remember things correctly, then I have a good, believable story. But where you're inventing whole worlds and people, you have to do a lot of research to back up the fiction. So the truth of it backs up the fiction, but you still have to make realistic choices and create believable characters, otherwise people won't buy it and they won't like it. My main goal was to tell a good story, and I think in previous attempts at writing I really tried to have a moral or message and realized that wasn't quite working. So this one is much more about plot and a good story. But having said that, there are a lot of important themes, themes of human migration, cross-cultural encounters, mental health issues, immigration and border issues, poverty, indigenous issues and cultures, and how they're threatened. So there's all kinds of what I consider really important themes in the book, but they're sort of woven into a story, with the story being the thrust and the characters being the thrust of the novel.